Good morning. It's a great pleasure to be here. I'm tempted to say you need a 7th inning stretch after the first inning, right? But I'll forgo that. I want to thank Connie for both a great talk getting us going and for her leadership. I joked last night over dinner that in the almost decade that we've worked together, I've lost some weight and all of my hair, and it's all good, right? So it's a great pleasure to be here. I'm David Theo Goldberg. I, among other things, direct the MacArthur-supported Digital Media and Learning Research Hub based at the University of California, Irvine. And together with Kathy Davidson, I've run all of the digital media and learning competitions about which I'll speak some today. The first thing to say, so the first thing to say is that the competitions are run by an organization called Haystack. Haystack is a bi-coastal organization between the University of California and Duke University. There are a number of folks here, Cheryl Grant and so on, who have helped to run these competitions over the period. We started about 8 years ago when Connie came to us and asked us to run the first of these competitions as a way of thinking about how we surface innovative work in relation to the use of digital media with respect to the whole range of learning from really preschool, from cradle to grave, you might say, right? And we ran the first competition pretty much not knowing what we were going to get, and we got over 1,000 applications in that first year. We've averaged since then about 750 applications a year. We've gone on, as you can see, to run a competition on participatory learning, which was really the forerunner and opened up and led to what we're now talking about in terms of connected learning. As part of the competitions, we've run competitions for youth as well as open competitions for everybody in order to create applications, in order to create learning programs and the like. And the most recent competition, I've got your flame. Heavy thumb, yeah. Sorry, I'm going to. No. Yeah, could you? Where are we? I'm pretty happy. What can I say? So the most recent competition we've run, which started 2 years ago, was a competition on badging at a time at which badging really was a nascent conversation in relation to learning. There was very, very little going on, and the aim was to try to use the competition, among other resources, to create a national conversation around badges for learning. And we ran the competition in a quite innovative way, in the sense that we asked folks, we ran a series of sections of the competition in which the finalists had to come to San Francisco in person to create a pitch in front of a panel of judges, and we announced the winners at the Digital Media and Learning Conference. And they were to create badging systems, and in some cases badging platforms, in order to advance the use of badging in relation to learning across all domains of learning. And so the competition was supported by the MacArthur Foundation, run by Haystack. Mozilla provided the badge issuing platform in development at the time, so we're working with Aaron and the Mozilla folks, and part of it was also funded by the Gates Foundation. So there was a really a set of partnerships that got set in place that remain to today. we not only ran a competition around the development of applications and so on, but also a competition around research on badging in order to really follow the development of badging and its affordances over time. Next, please. Now, open badges, about which Mark will speak in greater detail, provide a set of possibilities. For one, it helps to surface learning that is taking place that otherwise might be less visible or invisible in relation to a series of people. It enables the recognition of learning pathways that's neither a spelling nor a grammatical mistake. Learnings in the plural, because learnings are always pluralized, both the way in which learning takes place and the forms of learning that take place. And we thought that badging would enable us to surface and recognize the various forms that we identify with learning. There's a way in which it helps to accredit learning or provide a different way than conventional forms of certification. Certificates often end up in walls or in suitcases, never to be seen again. And the question was how badging could be a way of accrediting learning in an ongoing sense that was identifiable to all. The question about rewarding learning and motivating learning is a more controversial set of concerns. Connie pointed to an interesting nuanced distinction between evidencing pathways of learning and actually creating pathways of learning. And I think it's an important distinction to hold on to, that learning takes place, it gets recognized through a form of accreditation or certification, in this case badging, and then the question is, does it lead to further learning? Does it lead to new forms of learning, and how do you follow those new forms of learning that emerge and continue to support them and push them forward? And it's important that the rewarding that badging provides does not stand simply as its own thing, right? It's not, I'm getting a badge, I'm getting awarded with a badge, and hey, Anna, great, and I'll only go on and do further learning because I'm getting another badge for it. I mean, that's not the point of this, right? It's not this extrinsic motivational consideration where the learning falls away and one's just going after it for the recognition that the badge brings, as important as that might be as a stepping stone towards the learning. So the relation between rewarding learning and motivating learning is a complex one, and badging is a piece of that ecosystem. The word of the 2 days, I think, will be this notion of ecology or ecosystem, which I'll come back to momentarily. And then the importance is that we need to think of learning as a rather complex set of social practices, right? It's not a standalone thing that is happening, I don't know, 8 to 3 or 8 to 5 or something like that. It fits into, again, a landscape, an ecology, a set of social practices that we've come to identify as this notion of connected learning. Next. So we awarded a bunch of grants to actually as many as 30 projects. I'm not going to reference them all. You can look at the haystack.org site for an archive of them. But this is an interesting one, the Carnegie Mellon Computer Science Network. And it's an interesting slide because it begins to point within that kind of microsystem of all the elements that go into providing badges, earning badges, and the recognition of badges and how they might be used in a sense over time. So there's a student and the teacher or the facilitator, there's the classroom engagement, there's a set of activities that take place either in school or after school or in a set of learning institutions around that. There's the knowledge that gets developed, the performance of that knowledge that gets activated, the programs that get developed in relation to it, and then where the recognition through badging lives in terms of the kind of social media on which it exists, and the recognition ultimately by potential employers. So you see in the slide the way in which these things begin to fit together. Next, please. So can you go back a slide? Another slide. Another slide. You have as heavy a thumb as the rest of us, right? So the Providence After School Alliance has a badge over here that, or a set of badges that they developed for debating, for example, or photography. You can think of the whole range of knowledges that might get developed in terms of what might get badged. Next. My Girl Scout sash is an app, is an interesting one. We put it up there precisely because, of course, scouting, Girls and Boy Scouts, have a long history of badging that are fairly conventional. And it's interesting that the Girl Scouts badge program, which was for the development of leadership and learning, began to transform the way they thought and think about their conventional notions of badging in the kinds of ways in which we're developing. Next. Disney Pixar developed a game program in relation to Nature Conservancy and indeed with the Nature Conservancy. We're learning about nature and the challenges that nature is facing in terms of conservancy today, in terms of oceanic quality or on-land quality of resources, gets developed and gets badged, and they put this to work in their learning programs. Next. And this is a really interesting one because you can begin to see the entire range of activities around badging. There's been some talk, for example, at Purdue University in higher education, Arizona State University, of developing badging systems. But the badge system that has been most cohesively developed in relation to higher education, I'm happy to say, is at the University of California, Davis. Joanne Moyle is here, who has worked at developing this. It's in relation to agricultural and food sustainability program that's an existing major at UC Davis, and badges are given in the development of the knowledge by the students. And it's a supplement to the conventional forms of certification already long in place at higher education, where you earn your certificate for your degree and so on. So it's less threatening, right, to the forces of convention, you might say, precisely because it's supplemental. And it would be interesting to see how it takes hold over time. I mean, in a sense, it's the lead experiment in order to be able to see how badging might work in relation to existing forms of knowledge production in higher education. Next. We were acknowledged by Bill Clinton at the Clinton Global Initiative America in Chicago last June, I think it was. I'm almost, I'm going to say Napoleon and his 3 badgeteers, right? So in some sense. Next. I put that up not simply because it's Bill Clinton acknowledging this, but he really got it. I mean, as we walked off the stage after he acknowledged the badging initiative, he turned back to the audience and extemporaneously for about 5 minutes went on about the importance of the badging initiative as a way of recognizing learning that otherwise might not be at all recognized or so readily recognized. Next slide. And he got particularly animated about one of the awards that we gave out, the grant awards we gave out, which was the development of a badging system for veterans, where the kind of knowledge and skill and literacy development in relation to technical skills developed in the military then does not get translated or made legible to potential employers when they leave the military. And as he pointed out, next slide, please. No, previous slide. I think you've missed one. Well, you missed a slide. So there was a slide of a quote that seems to have gone missing, where he said that, you know, veterans suffer unemployment at a rate 25% higher than the national average, and what he was excited about was that badges would become a way of making evident to potential employers the incredible range of skills that the military invests in the development of knowledge production across a whole range of dimensions. And he ended up by concluding that the major beneficiaries of badging programs might indeed end up being military vets. So I want to end the substantive part of this talk by just pointing, Connie had spoken about challenges, and there are a range of challenges here. You can see you know, what this points to, I'm not going to read through them all, but what it points to is the importance of aligning all the pieces, right? The institutional structures, the learning institutions, the kids who might get excited about badges or might yet not know about badges, but so to bring their attention to it, the teachers, parents who might be skeptical, well, how is this going to translate into my kid going to college, for example, or when they get a degree from college, you know, are employers going to recognize what badges claim to make evident and so on. So all these pieces in this ecology, this ecosystem of badging need to be brought into some kind of creative and effective alignment with each other if badging is going to be an effective tool of advancing learning in the way in which Connie Yao has spoken about. And then Mark will speak in the end about the question of interoperability, about the badge issuing systems which are going to proliferate as badging takes off. It's absolutely crucially important that they be able to be speakable and legible and translatable one between the other if this is going to, in the end, be an effective ecosystem. Next. The DML5 competition, which we're about to launch, we thought running one competition at a time wasn't a challenge enough. So part of the hair I've lost is Connie saying we're going to run 2 or 3 at a time, right? Which is what we're doing at the moment. We ran a competition in the summer in relation to the Summer of Learning that Nicole Pinkett and others ran in the city of Chicago, that badging was an integral part of. So you can begin to see the way in which this is scaling up through a city that was running a whole range of Summer of Learning programs, and badging became part of that. Next. And the other 2 parts of this Project Connect Digital Media and Learning 5 competition are 2 competitions that will launch more or less simultaneously in the next 2 months. One's with an NGO called Voto Latino, based in Washington, D.C., started and run by Rosario Dawson and Maria Teresa Kumar, where we're working with them to run a series of challenges that will call for responding to challenges for the Latino community in particular, and developing applications across media and activism and leadership skills and the developed for Latinos. And then the other will be the more open competition, which are digital tools for democracy, how to think about creating and expanding trustworthiness in relation to the use of digital tools and the internet more broadly for learning considerations, particularly for youth. And so, as I say, these will be launched fairly vigorously in the next 2 months. And finally, I want to end with the last slide, and that is that the Digital Media and Learning Conference, which is an annual conference we run, will be taking place in Boston on connecting practices. Nicole Pinkett is the chair of the conference, and it's time for you all to register right now. Thanks very much. It's been a pleasure.